Hello, and thank you for tuning into this week's Mayor's Update. As always, we have a lot of important information to share with you here, so please feel free to share this video with your friends, family, relatives, and anyone else you think may find this information helpful over the course of the coming week. Now, we've done these updates in different places around the city in the past year, and we're in a different location here today as well that may be familiar to those of you who watch Channel 8 GETV more often. But we're actually in our TV studio here that's located inside Gardner High School. And the reason why we're here is that we are currently undergoing our very large technology upgrade that we're doing at the TV station that the City Council approved in June of last year. So I want to start off by saying thank you very much to Tim Josty, the director of GETV, Matt DeCero, and Andy King for the work that you do to help bring this update and everything else that we have filmed here in the city out to the public so that the public can have the experiences of what's going on in their government from the comfort of their own home. I want you to know how much I appreciate that, and I'm sure many of you who are watching this also appreciate that as well. So thank you very much to those three individuals for undergoing this technology upgrade, which is why we're here at Gardner High. We're going to start off by talking about some of our paving and construction updates here in the city of Gardner like we normally do. We are going to be paving Vernon Street, Graham Street, and Richmond beginning on the 28th of October. Now, some of you may remember that we paved those streets not that long ago. However, Unitil was conducting a gas main audit of all of their lines in the city, and they found a small leak underground in that section of the area. So the way that the current laws and regulations are written here in Gardner is that if a utility line is not a Gardner-owned utility line, and that there's an issue with a pipe under there that causes the road to have to be dug up, and we have paved that road within the past 5 years, that private company has to pay for pavement from curb to curb in the areas where they do the digging. So that pavement will actually be covered for by what Unitil is paying the city of Gardner because they had to go in and repair those pipes. Then beginning on November 8th, we will be paving Parker Street, the entire length of Parker Street, all the way from the Main Street Square down to Jean Street, a portion of West Street from Lafayette down to Monadnock, and we will actually also be paving Stone Street and a small section of Wheeler Road. Stone Street and Wheeler were not originally on our paving list, however, the bids did come in low enough for all of our paving projects that we were able to add that into this year. Crews will be going out and fully grading the current dirt roads in those areas and then adding the 2 layers of pavement onto that. We're always careful not to say when the bids do come in under because we don't know what change orders are going to come up or what repairs need to be made that may cause the budget for those projects to increase before we're able to finish everything we've had. However, we are able to add those to our paving list this week, and those will begin the week of November 8th. That'll happen sometime during that week while all of the other paving projects are going on as well. In terms of our water main project, crews are still in the Robillard and Wickman area and on Woodland Avenue. They are going to continue up until they can't, so long as it's not snow on the ground, we will be having those crews continue. Our goal is to get the base layer of pavement on before the snow this year, let that sit over the winter time, and then come back in the spring and put the second layer on. That actually does help us prevent potholes in the future, because as the new lines begin to have that new pressure, the sand and the different sediment and soil around the pipes shifts with it, because water pipes are so pressurized they actually shake a little bit underground that it shifts things around it. So by letting that shift all now, and the frost heaves happen and the different ice and the expanding and the contraction due to the colder and warmer temperatures happen with the base coat, we actually make it so that we can fix all of those now so that by the time we put the second layer on, all of those issues have been taken care of. So it's a pothole prevention technique that's done when we take that sort of approach with our paving. So our goal is to at least get that base layer done now. Crews are still working to try to fix the water at the Gardner Dog Park. That has been shut off for a little bit just because we found the problem, but the pipe and the pieces for the part that need to be installed in order to fix the water are delayed in delivery. Just like all of the other supply chain issues that have happened as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic, we're now starting to see that with the smaller repairs like the water at the dog park, where we just simply cannot get the parts yet because of the backlog of orders that are there because the parts are delayed due to the pandemic shortages that are happening nationwide. So that'll probably be a project that gets fixed probably in the springtime. I'm going to guess late March, early April. That will be 100% fixed at that point. But right now it just doesn't look like we'll be able to get to it before everything just gets too cold to be able to work on those types of projects. This past week, Governor Baker and Lieutenant Governor Polito named the week STEM Week across the Commonwealth, and we're highlighting different STEM, science, technology, engineering, and manufacturing programs in our local high schools statewide. So I took the chance to stop by our different STEM classes here at Gardner High School to look at our different manufacturing pathway programs, which for those of you who may not be familiar with that program, it's Gardner High School's version of a trade, where students will actually graduate with different licenses so that they can go into the trades if that's what they so choose. The woodworking classes, the different vocational exploration classes that we offer to our 8th graders, the science labs that we have here. So I want to say thank you very much to the teachers in our STEM classes here, as well as our principal at Gardner High School, Paula Bulger, and our superintendent of schools, Dr. Mark Pellegrino, for their leadership in making sure that our students do get these real-world life skills while part of their regular high school curriculum here at Gardner High School, that if they don't choose to go on to a traditional collegiate education and just enter the workforce, they already have all of those certifications under their belt by the time they get their high school diplomas. There will be a ribbon-cutting groundbreaking this next week over on Osgood Street. The Liabilities to Assets program is a program that the Commonwealth put out a couple years ago, and the city is partnering with New View Communities to take these old rundown buildings that have the red X's on them and flip them into new, vibrant locations for later market so that we can get tax revenue on them later on after they sell. The first of these projects in Gardner is going to formally kick off this next week over on Osgood Street, and we're excited to see how working and partnering with New View Communities as part of the Liabilities to Assets program will help us in the future. So thank you very much to our partners at New View and to our Community Development and Planning Department for really getting this off the ground here in Gardner. It should be a great situation for it all. You can see the successes this program has already had in Fitchburg and Leominster, and now that it has finally hit Gardner, we're able to piggyback off of the successes that they've had on those programs. So keep your eye out on the city's social media platforms and city website for more information on that program. Speaking of building projects, we just want to throw out there that we are at 875 building permits pulled here in the city of Gardner for the 2021 calendar year so far. To put that into perspective, we had just over 820 permits pulled last year total. So our building department inspectors are a little backlogged, so if you don't see an inspection happening right away, they will get to you. Just please be patient. We do have an inordinate amount of building permits that were taken out this past year, both for building, plumbing, electrical, and different other permits that were taken out, that it may take them a second to get to your inspection, but please know that it is still on their radar and they will be there as soon as they can. They're just, for the staffing levels that they currently have, the demand is just too great for them to be able to get to everything immediately at this time. But I do want to thank our Commissioner Roland Jean, our Assistant Commissioner Rick Germano, Daryl Sweeney, our Electrical Inspector, and Jimmy Imprescia, our Wiring and Plumbing Inspector, for the work that they're doing to be able to try to keep up with the demand that they're dealing with in that office, as well as Chris Singer and Rachel Taylor, the admins who work in that office as well. Election Day is coming up in the city of Gardner on November 2nd. We want to remind people that voting by mail is now available. So if you're interested in voting by mail, you can fill out the application on the city's website and either mail that in or bring it to Gardner City Hall and hand it to the city clerk's office. Your ballot must be mailed to you, but you have 3 options to how to return your ballot after you fill it out. You can either bring it to City Hall and drop it in the drop box in front. That is open 24/7 and is checked several times a day. It will be closed on Halloween during the hours of trick-or-treat, but will reopen again after trick-or-treat is done. We just want to make sure that there's no issues with finding extra candy in the box or people accidentally confusing it for a trash can. But ballots can be dropped off there. You can bring them in person to the city clerk's office at room 121 at Gardner City Hall, or you can mail them back to the city clerk's office as well. For those of you choosing to not vote by mail, the polls will be open on November 2nd from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. Just as a reminder that the polling locations for Ward 1 will still be at the Elks, Ward 2 will still be at the library, and Ward 4 will still be at the Gardner Police Station. Ward 3 will be held at the auditorium of Gardner City Hall. So people are asked to park in the Knowlton Street parking lot at the corner of Connor Street and Knowlton Street so that you can be able to enter the City Hall auditorium from the doors closest to that side of the building. That is where the entrance and exit to the building will be during Election Day. And then, of course, over in Ward 5, the polling location will be at the Polish American Citizens Club. And we will be putting out signage at the Acadian Club and at the National Guard Armory to indicate that those will no longer be utilized as polling locations for the city, and directing people who vote in those wards where their new polling location will be. If you have any questions on how to vote by mail, where to go on Election Day, or what ward and precinct you live in so you know where to go to vote on Election Day, you can contact the city clerk's office at any time. There will be an event this Saturday at the Gardner Dog Park. Some of you may remember over in the summer, we were going to have our annual Mayor of the Dog Park craft fair and ceremony and celebration over at the dog park. However, it poured the day that it was supposed to happen, so its rain date is actually this Saturday at the dog park at from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. So if you're interested in stopping by the dog park at that time and getting to see all the different canines in the city, or checking out the different vendors that we have there, please do feel free to stop by, and sure to be a fun time for all. We also have the Haywood Hospital Ride for Your Life Suicide Prevention Awareness motorcycle race happening this weekend, Saturday, beginning at 9 a.m. over at Haywood Hospital underneath the solar panel awnings. It's also the kickoff for the Haywood Hospital Healthy Harvest 5K. So both of the events are happening at the same time this year. So please keep an eye out while you're driving in the city to make sure you keep an eye out for the motorcycles that are in their race, the road runners that are in the 5K, and just think about stopping by and seeing the different important messages that are coming through these events: suicide prevention with the Rider for Your Life, and food access with the Healthy Harvest 5K. So thank you very much for Haywood Hospital for continuing to run both of those events, even with the different changes that we're seeing as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic here in the city of Gardner. This next week, we expect that Lieutenant Governor will be out in the city to announce a very exciting project that will really help improve the greater downtown area here in the city of Gardner, and that will replace next week's Mayor's Update. So please keep your eye out for that. There will be no regular weekly Mayor's Update, but instead be a video with Lieutenant Governor Polito announcing some very exciting news for us here in Gardner, especially in the greater downtown area. So please keep an eye out for that, and thank you very much for the Baker-Polito administration for their continued investment in our Commonwealth and their care for the different cities and towns that make up our great state here in Massachusetts. Our community development and planning department are working on several projects that are expected to begin sometime in the spring that we wanted to give you all a heads up about. Over on Park Street, where the old National Grid substation used to be, we are currently working on transforming that into a very small parking lot and a nice waterfront park. And then over at the dog park, we are also working on creating a shade pavilion for the dogs in the area too. We understand that on some of the summer days, it can get a little hot for the dogs. So we will be building a small pavilion so that the dogs can have some shade in that area as well, that we received funding from through a grant. So thank you very much to Lindsay Butler, our Assistant Director of Community Development and Planning, and Trevor Beauregard, our Director of Community Development and Planning, for really spearheading those two projects there that we can start to see as we build forward towards next year. We want to remind people that Trick or Treat will take place on Sunday, October 31st, between the hours of 5 p.m. and 7 p.m. There will be no downtown Trick or Treat, as Gardner Square 2, the Downtown Business Association, has decided to forego that for another year and bring it back next year, just out of an abundance of precaution from the COVID-19 pandemic. Their board of directors made that decision. However, regular Trick or Treat will still take place on the 31st from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. citywide. We want to remind people, if you feel concerned about your safety with the current pandemic situations in the city, or just you don't want people coming to your house, simply just don't turn your front light on during those hours. However, if you are okay with people coming trick-or-treating to your location, just simply turn your light on, and again, between 5 and 7 on Halloween Day itself. Starbucks will be having its formal ribbon cutting here in the city of Gardner on November 4th over at the Timpani Crossroads location. So if you are interested in registering to attend the ribbon cutting for Starbucks, please contact the Greater Gardner Chamber of Commerce, and Amanda or Carol will be able to register you as an attendee for the ribbon cutting event for Starbucks here in the Chair City at Timpani Crossroads. Again, thank you very much to Amy Fantoni, and Emily LaLiberty for really taking charge with the new Timpani Crossroads location and helping invest in that area of the city to grow our business community here in Gardner. On that line, we will also have the groundbreaking for the new Community Health Center at Timpani Boulevard the following day, Friday, November 5th. As well. So there's a lot of exciting things happening within the next couple of weeks here in Gardner that we want to make sure you all know about. And because there is no mayor's update next week, we want to give you as much early on information as we can to help cover both weeks in one. A couple last things that we'd like to say here is just a thank you very much to Director Ellis from the Gardner Senior Center, the Gardner CHC, Haywood Hospital, Chair City Pharmacy, Dr. John Moqueen, Nurse Paula Moqueen, Dr. Harrington, and everyone else who came out for the booster clinic that we had over at Chair City Church on Central Street for the COVID-19 vaccine. We were able to give out about 100 doses for the third dose of Pfizer vaccines here in Gardner. The Senior Center is planning another booster event for those who received either Pfizer or Moderna at that event in early November. So please keep an eye out on the Senior Centers and the city's Facebook and social media pages so that you can get information as to how you can register for those booster shots if you are eligible to. And we also want to give a brief welcome to Knights Nutrition. Some of you may be seeing these flyers throughout the city. Knights Nutrition is Gardner's downtown's newest business. It'll be located at 66 Main Street, right next to where the old Texas Chicken used to be. And it'll be a brand new healthy shakes, energy drinks, teas, and coffee shop right in our downtown. They are expected to open in early November. So we just want to wish Isaac and his team a very warm welcome here in the city of Gardner and wish them the best of luck as they begin their business ventures here in the Chair City. However, that concludes this week's update. Until we speak again after the Lieutenant Governor's visit, I hope to be able to share with you some of the more exciting projects the next time we speak that I'm going to wait for the Lieutenant Governor to announce when she's here. But please do something to get outside and enjoy the weather before it gets too cold, and enjoy what we have here in the city of Gardner. Remember, Election Day is coming up, so please do vote. Really enjoy what makes Gardner, Gardner, and the special different things that we have here that help make us a very unique community in North Central Massachusetts. And until we speak again, I hope you have a great day, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Thank you very much.